Hi, welcome back to Live and Breathe Horses, and today we're carrying on with From an Old Master Trainer to Young Trainers with Master Nuno. Today's chapter is about working on the lunge, which is something we've talked about before, but as it's a very popular activity, I thought we'd just go over what he's saying about that. So he starts off by talking how important it is that the rider should be the one to warm up the horse if they're going to warm him up on the lunge, so that they can observe the attitude of the back, position of the neck, the rhythm, difference between how the horse is feeling that day. And going by what they observe on the lunge and feel from the horse will then dictate how they're going to ride him that day. So I think that's a very important point. And then he goes on to talk about gadgets, which of course can be dangerous if badly used and can be quite helpful. Personally, I don't use any anymore, but if you were going to use one at all, he recommends, which is the one I used with Miguel, which is 2 sets of reins, so that there's a rein goes from the top of the withers through a ring on the headband and down to the bit, and then you have the side reins, so that the horse doesn't get behind the vertical and too low down. I think it depends on the horse, and you know, the important thing is to have the feel to know the rhythm and cadence and how much work to do, and that he should be warmed up and relaxed before putting the gadget on, so that if there's any tension, you know, and then we just try to strap the horse in, we're only going to do damage. You know, these things are supposed to be gymnastic exercises, so the horse being in a state that he understands and he's relaxed and happy in his work is always going to give a better result. So let's have a little read of what Nuno's saying. So you must never forget that when one lunges a horse, that the lunge rein is equivalent to the rein when the rider's on his back, and that the lunge whip is equivalent to the rider's legs. The circles we ask for must be geometric circles. If we forget to keep the horse in a correct circle by the pushing of the whip and the elastic tension, take and give of the lunge rein, and if we let him lean on the inside, we're giving a bad lesson. The horse must be able to walk straight, perfectly straight, on the 3 circles we make in the dressage menage when we work at the lunge. We must change the circle very often. For me, that line is key, because you see often people lunging and they just keep going round and round. And I've got nothing against lunging, but that makes horses very robotic. So we can use the whole arena. And not only can, you know, we can walk up and down the centre line, we can do the 3 main circles, we can do circles in between. We can also walk out to the side, make a circle in the corner, you know, make smaller circles when we're going at walks. So I think the thing with lunging is lots of changes of where we are, circle, straight line, small circle, and lots of changes of pace within the pace and transitions is what we can practice very well, and observing, as he said, observing how the horse does those transitions, and that will give us very valuable information for when we get on our horse. So, the halt on the lunge must be asked for gently by the whip, which shows itself delicately behind and with very little vibration of the lunge, and can be helped by the voice. So that was how I learned with Miguel. We used to stop the horses by resting the whip on their hindquarters in the working hand, and then they get used to that. I think, again, it's a case of whatever works for you, and thinking how it will translate to when you get on. And of course the voice can be useful in these cases as well, especially with young horses while they're learning, you know, and then when you get on they'll understand the voice commands, and then you can little by little go phasing that out as they get used to working more off the feel. So working on the lunge with a horse whose gadget is correctly fitted and in the correct cadence can be a precious aid in training horses. You must not forget that when you want to make an impression or a request on the cavesson, on the bridge of the horse's nose, it's not by pulling that you'll obtain a good result, but it is by giving lightly with the lunge and also with the ability to vibrate. The gesture of the hand which holds the whip must be restrained and calculated, so the horse gets the habit progressively to see the whip without being afraid. We can create many good things and good work on the lunge, and also many bad things, which can remain for the rest of the horse's life. And that's a very valid point, you know. It's something that really can be used and abused, overused, but done correctly, like he says, it can be very valuable work. And I think the thing about the whip, you know, that the horse understands, and that's a very important distinction, that he's not responding to the whip through fear and just trying to get away from it. Again, it's back to that thing about being relaxed and in a good state of mind, so he can learn and develop his muscles in a harmonious and useful way. So thank you for being with us today. Look forward to see you next time, and keep tuning into the light.